Right now on KGW News at noon, sentencing is in for a 27-year-old trying to enroll at Albany High School as a teenager. We have the details. Plus, Clackamas County employees vote to strike, what they are asking for and how the county is responding. And with new tariffs in effect, economists are predicting changes for consumers. But where do things actually come from? We'll break it down.
Everybody likes a sense of the openness, of the dynamics of things changing. Everybody likes it.
And later, Grant McComey takes us to a unique geological site in Oregon where you can find a Sahara by the sea. Your news at noon starts right now. Thanks for joining us. I'm China Green. New details today. A person who was posing as a 15-year-old and attempted to enroll in a high school in Albany has been sentenced to 20 days in jail and 2 years probation. The 27-year-old, identified as Michaela Craig, is also not allowed to go within 500 feet of schools. Investigators say on December 13th, Craig tried to register for high school. Staff noticed and told police. Police say Craig gave a fake name and a date of birth. Craig was arrested on charges of computer crimes, forgery, and false swearing.
She, as a registered sex offender, is trying to pretend that she is a juvenile to be involved with other juveniles in the high school system.
I don't know that jail really serves the purpose that perhaps we want, and that compensatory service or community service would be better serve the community.
Court records show Craig was convicted of third sexual abuse in May of 2023. That victim was a minor. Craig was sentenced for 3-year probation in that case, but was not made to register as a sex offender. Developing now for the first time, more than 1,000 employees working for Clackamas County have voted to authorize a strike. The workers' union says the county is withholding previously budgeted cost of living increases that other county employees have already received. Yesterday in a commissioners' meeting, several members of the union shared their perspective and their commissioners offered a response.
And when 90% of our union members spoke up and voted to authorize a strike, that should have sent a clear and powerful message that enough is enough.
Besides the fact that it's one of the weakest benefit packages in the region, it also does not provide the back wages, which we are due, among other issues.
With a lot of compassion and a lot of hard work, with many offers made to the union, we have put forth very lucrative, very generous packages paid for by the taxpayer. And we have to continue to figure this out. And we are at an impasse.
The employees would need to give the county a 10-day notice before striking. If you are headed to the airport this weekend, listen up. Starting tomorrow, riders will need to use a temporary detour at PDX. Crews are updating exit routes, meaning trains will run on a single track. A temporary walkway will link the station to the terminal. TriMet says trains will run on schedule with signs and staff to assist riders. The detour ends on April 20th. All right, before we get to weather, here's a quick live look from our Pioneer Courthouse Square sky cam. The sun shining down on the bricks right there. So let's bring in Ashley Grams for a look at the weather, the beautiful weather.
I know, with sunshine on this Friday, headed into the weekend. Feels awesome. We'll give you guys a look down at the Reserve Golf Course in Aloha. You can see a couple of golfers out there enjoying it this afternoon here on the green. About 55 degrees out there, but it's possible we could get up to 70 degrees today, so a lot more warmer temperatures here on the horizons. This is a look from our Chinook winds camera out in Lincoln City. 53 degrees there and not a cloud in the sky. An absolutely great day to head to the coast. Here's a couple of our temperatures here in Futurecast. It looks like this is actually a little bit on the low end. It's possible we could get up to 70 degrees or so here in the Rose City as we head into tomorrow morning. Your temperatures are right around in those high 50s and then even warmer. That's the possibility for tomorrow. A beautiful Saturday ahead of us. Here's a snapshot of that weekend for you. Again, it's possible we could see low 70s here in Portland. A few of those clouds coming in, and then Sunday, that's the day that things change. We start to see that rain come in. We'll talk a little bit more about that and your 7-day forecast coming up.
Thank you, Ashley. President Donald Trump announced new tariffs 2 days ago, and now China is responding to that. China will impose a 34% tariff on all U.S. imports starting next Thursday. Now, this move has pushed stock markets lower today. The S&P 500 dropped to 3.8% in midday trading, marking its worst day since COVID-19. China also announced an immediate suspension on the import of chicken products from 3 U.S. companies. And with tariffs set to hit imports, experts predict a major decline in what's being bought and sold across the country. Consumers say that the shift to American-made products, or they might stop buying them altogether. But do you know where your goods actually come from? Sebastian Robertson has more on how shoppers are reacting to changing options.
Yeah, well, China.
Susan Solinsky is strategically shopping, looking for a deal ahead of what she fears will be a tariff-driven price hike.
I know I don't want to pay for it, but that's why I'm here now. You get it before that kicks in.
So you thought about that today?
I've been thinking about it since he's been talking about it.
China, first row.
The Trump administration declared Wednesday Liberation Day, announcing a blanket 10% tariff on imports, with some countries, as China, facing a total of more than 50% tariffs on imports.
Empirical work in economics says yes. In general, tariffs are passed through to the end consumers.
This morning, customers were on the hunt to find where their goods came from.
Before, it used to be affordable to shop here and send things over Mexico, and they were still affordable, but with these prices going up, it's going to be impossible.
According to the U.S. Census Bureau, America imported more than $400 billion worth of consumer goods from China last year. But not everything is made in China. In the parking lot of a Home Depot, this man discovered pressure-treated lumber from Western Washington.
Well, it says Tacoma.
This DeWalt pressure washer,
Manufactured in
made in America too.
Wisconsin.
What do you think?
Pretty cool.
Sure enough, on DeWalt's website, they say that select products are made in the USA, asking customers to look out for this logo, Made in the USA. The use of that label is actually enforced by the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, which states that all or virtually all of the components and assembly must happen in the USA.
The economy is going to collapse, and we won't be able to afford things anymore since they're coming from China or different countries than USA.
Here locally in North Portland, neighbors are pleading with the city to prioritize and save their community center. The Peninsula Park Center is one of 3 that city leaders might shut down to help balance the budget, and it was top of mind during the last in a series of listening sessions across the city. McCarty takes us there.
My neighbors and I are outraged by the proposed closing of one of Portland's 3 smaller community centers.
With a $93 million budget shortfall, Portland city staffers proposed a series of cuts.
It seems like we're only ever talking about cutting programs and never about raising additional revenue.
Among the recommendations, the possible closure of one of 3 community centers in Peninsula Park, in Montevilla, or in St. John's.
There's so few opportunities for kids to get out of the house and into environments that are open to everyone, so that they can interact with kids from all backgrounds.
At Thursday's budget listening session, Portlanders urged counselors to prevent a closure and the elimination of recreational programs.
Please keep all neighborhood community centers open, and please keep camps running.
And continue to work to create a sustainable funding model for our parks and recreation system.
Earlier this week, crowds gathered to protest shuttering the center in St. John's, pointing out just how valuable it is.
My husband and I both work, and we use it for aftercare. We're planning on having our kindergartner go there next year, and honestly, it would be really a huge loss for our family.
We need this community center. We need all the community centers. That's what makes Portland great.
City Council President Ilana Pertogini explained closing these centers isn't a done deal.
There are 2 more important steps still. The mayor needs to release his proposed budget, and then council will have the opportunity to make amendments to that budget before we pass a final budget. So nothing is set in stone at this point.
Alma McCarty, KGW News.
And Mayor Keith Wilson is expected to propose his budget at the beginning of May. City staff have proposed cuts across the board, with only emergency services like fire and police not on the chopping block. Crater Lake National Park is Oregon's only national park, and come next year, the lake's most popular trail will be closed to the public for up to 3 years for repairs. Beginning in 2026, the National Park Service says that they are shutting down the Cleetwood Cove Trail for construction, which is the only trail to access the lake for boating and swimming. The work is expected to last until summer to 2029. And KGW Stephanie Domerat recently spoke to the former director of the National Park Service on Straight Talk. He told us it's been several years since the trail received any major upkeep, and despite some funding uncertainty, he's glad that the project is moving forward.
The ecosystem in and around Crater Lake is pretty fragile. You know, we've seen climate change and the effects of climate change here in Oregon, and so what we're doing now in that project is ensuring not only adaptation and mitigation to climate change, but resiliency is being built into the trail system so that we can go through a longer period without having to close the trail down.
He added that even with the popular trail closed, there's still plenty to see around the rim of the lake, visitor center, and lodge. Tune into Straight Talk this weekend for more of our conversation with the former parks director. We covered a lot of ground here, from his time leading the department in charge of public lands to current federal changes to the Park Service. It airs this Saturday and Sunday at 6:30, then again on Monday at 7, or you can watch it on your own time by downloading the free KGW Plus TV app.